Hey, today I'm going to do a video behind Harbor Freight in Augusta. This is one of my favorite places to be. We're going to go over my personal history in the gig economy from 2013 to 2025. I wasn't active all of those years, to be honest, and only recently got on the digital gig apps that we typically talk about on the channel. Back in 2013 and 2014, I delivered phone books, and that is not a thing anymore for obvious reasons. But I did do it for those 2 years. That was probably my first temp, side hustle. And back then I was working in a movie theater and I needed a little extra money. So I took that job. It was kind of like a newspaper route, more or less. Like, you would have a neighborhood and you would basically deliver the phone book to almost everyone in that neighborhood. At minimum, the Fairpoint customers, or the customers of the phone company. It did pay a little bit and it was worth it, I guess. But I do remember my car sliding down an icy driveway. So I pulled into a driveway thinking it was somebody's home, intending on delivering a phone book, because you had to go to home and click this little button to confirm that you had been there and delivered the phone book. So I pull into this driveway. It's actually for clearing off snow off the road. It had melted and refrozen, and it was a sheet of ice. Car slid all the way down into a snowbank. It took all day to get out. My dad had to help me out. It was gallons upon gallons of salt and sand on that driveway just to get out. So yeah, really bad things can happen when you're delivering, and that is definitely one of them. The gig was available mostly in the summer. And yeah, it was all right. But in 2017, I started doing events at Walmart for a company called Advantage. I don't know if it's Advantage Solutions or Advantage Marketing Solutions, but it's basically, you cook something or you buy something at the store with a card, and you put out free samples, and the idea is to push that product to increase sales. And yeah, it's a good part-time gig, and it is technically a W-2, so it might not be technically a gig economy job, but I did that from 2017 up until September of 2020. It kind of went away more or less because of the pandemic. And it's slowly come back, and I've thought about doing that job again at a different grocery store, but we'll see. So there was Advantage Solutions. I took quite a few temp gigs, and I would say if you're looking for a job, the best thing for you to do is to go to a staffing agency, temp agency. In Maine, that would be Bonnie Staffing, Tri-State, Manpower, Capital Area Staffing Solutions, Maine Staffing. There might be even more, and if you're a young person living in the Bangor area, you can just go to the Job Corps, the Penobscot Job Corps. But yeah, the applications right now, 98% of the companies that say that they're hiring are not actually hiring. They'll rarely even give you an interview. The temp agencies know the jobs that are actually looking for people. So, after I started the job in 2017 with Advantage, in 2018, I started doing temp gigs as well on the side, dishwashing, wait staff, occasionally working at J.S. McCarthy. And that job also kind of went away with the pandemic, but I think it's starting to come back, the temp jobs. We got to fast forward to the best part, and that's starting DoorDash in October of 2021. DoorDash allowed me to pay off my student loans It allowed me to quit my job as a flagger, which I took in like 2019 and quit in 2023. DoorDash was the big change working in the gig economy. A lot of people are going to recommend it because it's high volume, it's pretty reliable that you can log in and get work. My acceptance rate is currently 56% because I'm just getting a lot of crap. If it wasn't crap, I'd be at 70% in platinum, but I'm just not going to sacrifice money and time in order to be platinum. That doesn't mean that I don't think DoorDash is worth it. It's completely worth it as a source of income. About a year later, in October of 2022, I started doing Instacart. Now, I have made probably a fifth to maybe a tenth as much money on Instacart as DoorDash because Instacart is lower volume and I really don't like to do a lot of shopping. So I kind of try to do the pick up and deliver offers for Instacart. That doesn't mean that I don't think Instacart is worth it. It's definitely a good filler app. And I think it's one of the 4 essential apps that you need in order to be a full-time gig worker. In July 2023, I started doing Uber Eats. Again, this is a very good filler app. It occasionally has very, very good offers. So Uber Eats, just like Instacart, is totally recommended. I'd say the one thing I've noticed about Uber Eats is that your best offers and your absolute worst offers will both be on Uber Eats. It's either like $35 for 12 miles, like incredibly good ratio, or it's like $3 for 12 miles. Like ratios that are so bad you won't even see them on DoorDash. But yeah, at this point, 2023, I have these 3 apps. I've already thought about quitting my job as a flagger. I did in November of 2023. And then in 2024, I signed up for a lot more apps because I had that time freed up. In April of 2024, I signed up for Spark. So far, it's been a really good daytime app. It's been a great opportunity. Some of my best paychecks have come from doing Spark deliveries. They're way higher paying than DoorDash. Even if they're more time consuming, they just plain pay more. And there's bonus pay. And the base pay, I've noticed, is higher for Spark than for DoorDash. Around that same time, I also signed up for Roadie, which is a good filler app in the spring, the summer, and the fall. I noticed that over the winter, Roadie is just completely dead. Around May or June, I signed up for Grubhub, or I finally got through the waiting list and got signed up for Grubhub. Haven't been impressed with Grubhub at all. I mean, I've made a little bit of money here and there, but I sometimes can't even get delivery offers if I'm scheduled. It's that bad. Around July of 2024, I got Field Agent. I've only made like $43 on it so far. It's a filler app. I do recommend mystery shopping and audits, field audits, as another way of supplementing your income. I did briefly sign up for Shipped, but I've only done like 1 delivery, and it's not even really available in my area. I shouldn't have even been able to sign up, but it's available in like southwestern Maine, in the Portland area. Skipcart may be coming, who knows. Deliver That is only available in the Portland area. So those are basically the apps that I have, and that's the whole, I guess, history of when I signed up. 2022 was the best year for DoorDash in terms of full year. There was a lot more peak pay, and it felt like it was easier to make money because the base pay was higher. This is why DoorDash is not really seen as good as it used to be, despite the fact that it's still pretty high volume. It's kind of become a high volume filler app, if I'm to tell the truth. Spark is just paying out way more. Uber Eats is occasionally paying out way more, but it's a pretty dead app. And Instacart, again, it's a filler app. It's worth having, but it's not going to make you a ton of money. So, I've gone over it so many times. You've got to have multiple apps on your phone. Don't think that you have to be faithful to DoorDash and always sign into DoorDash. Whatever app is paying you is the app that's paying you. As for issues that have come up, all of my contract violations with DoorDash were between when I started and July of 2023. So I now haven't had a contract violation in a year and a half. I have talked about contract violations a lot in other videos. Avoid them, If you can avoid getting fired, you've got the best gig ever with DoorDash. I've occasionally gotten a contract violation with Uber Eats, but I think they just threw it out because maybe it was a late delivery that was marked as not having been done. I have had really bad luck with navigation out here in central Maine. Sometimes when you get near a lake or another remote area, the navigation just cuts out and you have to figure out how to get to your customer from where you are. I don't really know what the solution is, but I will say that I am looking for a better phone where I'll have better communication in remote areas, and I'll be able to keep those lines of communication open with the customer. So in case there's an issue, I can figure out how to get to them as efficiently as possible. As far as working in other markets in Maine, Augusta's not the best, but it's not the worst. Farmington, Skowhegan, Newport, Dexter, Dover, Foxcroft, they're all deader than Augusta, way deader. Bangor, Portland, Lewiston, Auburn, they're either as busy as Augusta or they're busier. And I think at least a little bit busier. Waterville, I think, is a little worse than Augusta, but it varies. Sometimes it's worth to take the trip. I have worked in Bath, Brunswick, and Rockland. They're pretty good markets. I like the atmosphere. I like being on the coast of Maine. But they're not huge amounts of money. It's pretty much lunchtime, supper time. You'll get some offers, and then outside of that, you won't get too much. Oh, and Rumford was pretty much completely dead. Union is totally and completely dead. And I haven't really worked out in Norway yet. But there you have it. It kind of started out with, some W-2s, phone book delivery, all that, some temp gigs. Eventually I got into the digital gig economy, or what we're normally talking about, like DoorDash, Instacart, Roadie, Uber Eats, etc. I haven't been able to do Uber or Lyft because I don't have a new enough vehicle. But I would recommend it. I think it'll just add to the variety that you have. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else I should go over. I'm at about 3,500 to 4,000 deliveries. So we're going to get into the next video, and I might just paste it on this one or whatnot. What happens when you're a full-time gig driver and you lose motivation to do your own job? Well, the first thing I would say is if you're cherry picking, you might make your money fairly quickly, and you might not have to work the same workload that you did before, when you were in a worse financial situation. I don't have to grind the way I did in 2021 and 2022. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that I'm just not going to have the same amount of motivation. But if lack of motivation is a real problem for you, working in the gig economy, you have to remember that your motivation has to be internal. You can watch motivational speakers like Tony Robbins, but there's, a few people on YouTube that are motivational speakers right now. And that's their job. And even Tony Robbins will admit that if your motivation is not internal, if it's coming from him jazzing you up with a speech about, going after it and all that, you're not going to be motivated for long. Your motivation has to be internal. Okay? And that's not something really that can be taught. So one of the things that I think can help you work consistently in the gig economy is having a sense of duty to help people, because ultimately that's what you're doing. And I know it's easy to think that our customers are hungover and they want a fucking greasy burger or whatever, on a Saturday morning or whatnot. I think it's easy to stereotype DoorDash customers as being lazy, but some of them really need the service. Especially when you do Instacart, you will run into customers that have health issues and they need the delivery in order to survive. I think you want to remember those people, and you want to remember that you're helping those people, because if the money is not going to be enough, especially if you have a really good week and you grind and you grind and you crush it, like the last couple days, last week of December and the first week of January, I ended 2024 strong and I started 2025 very strong, and I made good money. And then after that, I was just like, I don't want to deliver for a few days. And that's fine. I made my money for those 10 days between like Christmas and January 5th. A sense of duty to your customers is a good internal motivator. Also knowing that the gig economy is your preferred way of making money. You're not just doing it for the money, it's your preferred way of making money. So yes, you could do a job, you could probably go to McDonald's, you could go to Walmart, you could get a 9-to-5, or you could get, go to the temp agencies and get a full-time job through them. It doesn't really matter. You prefer to not have a schedule, you prefer to not have a boss, you prefer to work on your own terms. And that is a good motivator for not being in the job market, the W-2 job market, and being in the gig economy. Another, good internal motivator is taking pride in your work even if others are judging you. So, in other words, detach from what other people think. Of course, there are going to be people like Tim Dillon and Matt Walsh that don't think very, very highly of DoorDash drivers, but you don't have to share their opinion. You can detach from what people think and do your job and know this is my preferred way of making money and I have a sense of duty to my customers. Okay? Being able to make your own schedule and work on your own terms and make money on demand is such a great thing. And I don't know why anyone would want to give it up. I do understand the benefits of having a schedule and having stability, but it's not for everyone. I think by 2030, people are just going to have to accept the fact that the gig economy is here to stay. Crypto hasn't gone away. It's here to stay. Like all these things that cropped up in the 2010s, they're here to stay. They're not going away. Nobody's getting rid of DoorDash anytime soon. It is a household name. People use it every day. Nothing is changing. So you can either decide, do you want to make money in the gig economy on your own terms, or do you want to do something else? It's up to you. But I have referral links in the description of videos. If you sign up for gig economy apps, you will get a sign-on bonus. Plus, you will have a source of income that you can tap into whenever you need to. And you help the channel because with a referral bonus, I can get a dedicated camera so I can videotape my dashes. Obviously, I'm very concerned about making sure that I protect privacy, so they're going to be heavily edited. But I think that eventually I will do some taping of my dashes so people can see where I am, what it entails, and they can get prepared mentally for what they're going to go through as a gig economy driver. So, with that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.